Andreas.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Oh man, there's a lot of stuff that we as elite performing musicians have to deal with.
All the time.
Know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Keeping track of all the money.
Where do you put it? Like, that's...
It's everywhere. It's just bursting.
Sometimes it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. Keeping the girls at bay.
Ugh.
That's tough, right? You know what I'm saying.
Auditions all day to hire a security team.
Oh, and then making sure that your security team is like jacked enough.
They have to.
I gotta take them to the gym and hold their hands, make sure they're getting their rip curls in.
That's right.
You know, but that's all good stuff. Believe it or not, there are perils, crap that you're gonna have to deal with as a performing musician. And we're just going to talk about some of our experiences with it and how we have handled it professionally or unprofessionally, yeah?
Mostly professionally, in my case.
In my case, it's a little bit of a different story sometimes. Start us off. What's something that happens to you or has happened to you?
Things that have happened to me.
Yeah.
For example, a person in the crowd drinking a little too heavily.
The drunks. Always the drunks.
The drunks.
Yeah.
And you know, there are drunks that are actually great. They just stay quiet and listen.
Sometimes they make the show.
Trying
honestly.
to look at you like this, funny.
Yeah, swaying back and forth.
They think they're looking at you, but they look at the bartender.
Yeah, you're not really sure what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But there's the drunks are really loud and they really like attention.
The belligerent ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I mean, they become hecklers and they try to interfere with the whole act.
Try to make it about them.
And you know what? A way I handle that when that happens to me, I found that the easiest way is to stop playing, take a little break, not make a big deal out of it, and talk to management and have them talk to them instead of you trying to handle that.
For sure. And that's actually great advice, because I think maybe when you're first starting out as a performer, it just makes it awkward and you don't know what to do, and then you just try to like deal with it. But honestly, like, it just escalates in my experience.
Especially when obviously you're already annoyed because you were trying to perform and do a good job. Mm-hmm. Suddenly somebody's interfering with your flow.
Yeah.
Of course you're gonna be annoyed. The problem is that drunks don't take if you're upset and show it.
Yeah.
They're gonna get even angrier.
So it's best I think it takes a little bit of grace to do.
No, yeah.
But you're
it's
right.
Not easy. It's actually not easy.
It is. Yeah, you have to cut that off early. You know what I mean? And that's why going to the
You
staff.
have to remember they are not gonna act like a reasonable person.
Yeah.
They are drunk.
Yeah. My natural inclination.
You're gonna behave like a kid, like a toddler.
Exactly. My natural inclination is to screw with them.
Exactly. Me too.
That doesn't work.
Me too.
You probably shouldn't do that.
Things escalate quickly.
Yeah.
And I've done it. I mean, I think we all as performers are gonna have to deal with the drunk at some point.
Always.
And you want always go.
You want to call them out on the mic.
Yeah.
And maybe just kind of get into it. It's such a bad idea.
I've done it.
Take it from us. It's a bad idea. It's fun sometimes.
One time I did it, and I joke. I was sarcastic to the guy who was annoying me and heckling me, and he was drunk. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I said something like, I forget what I said, but the point is that he looked at me in the eye, all drunk, but he looked at me. Mm-hmm. He was a big guy too. He looked at me and said, "Don't mess with my like."
So it gets real quick.
And once he said that, I knew he was gonna try to fight me.
It's like, here we go. It's a brawl. That's why your security team needs to be jacked.
But
okay, a lot of times people are gonna just be having a good time, and you have to understand where the line is. Like, these people are ultimately harmless. You know what I mean? Incorporated into the thing. One thing that happened to me...
For the most part, they're there to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. A real belligerent thing that escalates is something that you just kind of have to have a trained eye, which you'll develop playing out. You will develop. Now, another thing that's really funny, something that I do, I like incorporating the audience into the shows. If somebody wants to sing or whatever, I'll let them no matter how bad they are. Which is sometimes a good idea, sometimes not a good idea. One time, we had one of the owners' girlfriends come up and start singing with us.
Are you in another point now? Because that's something that is also annoying.
Sometimes. Yeah. It's interesting. So we had her singing, and she was a little tipsy or whatever. And then at the end of the song, she goes, "This one goes out to all the men out there who know how to make their women bleep. Something super inappropriate. And this is kind of like a family restaurant. And I was like, that was a bad idea. You know what I did? Instantly.
You started playing that.
Right into Stand By Me. I tried to take the most wholesome song that I could and cleanse the room.
That's a good idea.
Of it. That's my move. Whenever something really inappropriate happens, I just launch into Stand By Me. And it seems to make everything 20% better. So...
You know, a way I deal with that is I make a joke out of it, always. For example, if somebody, like a drunk person falls.
Sure.
And he gets super awkward, everybody gets silent. And what happened? I just say something like, "Oh, that was part of the show. We actually rehearsed that last night." So that's another way to deal with awkward, bad situations.
Yeah.
To make a joke.
And then as the ambulance is coming and carrying them away,
that's also part of the show.
This is a high production.
It's part of the live show.
Yeah, really, it's the light show. Yeah.
It's not a real. It's not a real ambulance.
Brought to you by Chauvet. The Chauvet ambulance comes, picks them up. Yeah. Now, one thing I generally am just trying to entertain myself at these shows, and I think that actually comes through as a performer. You know, have a good time, because if you're not having a good time, the audience isn't going to be having a good time.
Yeah, you gotta have a good time.
Even if you're not a great performer, and
people love funny.
Yeah.
People love funny.
Yeah.
So if you say something that's the thing about funny. Like to be funny, all you have to do is say something that they're not expecting.
Yeah, and it can be cheesy funny. It doesn't matter. You're not putting on a comedy show at the end of the day. Exactly. But you can suck a guitar, and then if you're having a good time, people are going to be having a good time. But at the same time, so what I'm saying is, nothing really bothers me. Even the drunks don't bother me so much. The one thing that really grinds my gears, Andreas, is when the venue that you're playing at does not know how to turn off the house music going through the speakers. And this happens all the time. You wouldn't think that this would be like an issue. Like, you think somebody in control would be like, oh, the performers are starting. I'll turn down the house music. This is an actual problem that has happened to me at every venue that I've ever played at. And it's the most annoying thing if you're trying to play any kind of whatever acoustic thing.
That's why it's crucial that venues have a good manager, because there are venues where the manager is on top of things.
Yep.
They almost like by instinct know what's going on. They want to make sure. I play at some venues where the manager is so good that if they see me that I'm like not starting and I'm clicking buttons on the mixer,
sure,
the manager will run to say, "Is everything okay?"
Yeah,
that's a good manager.
That's great
because he knows the importance of keeping the show going.
Exactly.
You know?
And the tip is to know who's in charge as a performer. A lot of times you just want to set up and get going. Yeah. You're not sure. You're talking to like maybe like the hostess.
Yeah, because often we do that. Like, hey, excuse me. Some person is passing with plates and hey, excuse me, what's up?
You work here.
Hey, can you turn the music up? And then, oh sure.
Yeah,
they're going to a table to deliver plates. They're gonna forget.
Yeah,
they don't even know where this.
Yeah, that's not their job at all.
It's not their job.
So make sure you know who to talk to, because that is the most annoying thing.
That is very important
when you're trying to play over other music going on, and that's really the only time I have ever stopped a performance and been like,
called out.
And been like, you know, all right, I've talked to the manager several times about this. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here until they get their act together, which is probably unprofessional of me to say. Again, that rarely ever happens where I actually just stop and I just wait on something. But that is the one thing that annoys me to no end when you're playing and there's some trance.
Yeah, but definitely the best is when you ask someone like, get this person for me, please.
Yeah.
Like get the manager, have her to come here or have him to come here.
Yeah.
And because you're gonna be waiting too, but as soon as that person comes, then you say like, I need you to please turn the music off.
For sure.
Please, so I can start. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like polite, but tell them that that's what you need.
So know who's in charge. And the thing that I think a lot of us as performers should have is like, you know, say you're playing from 6 to 9. Like, I want to be playing at 6, and I want to be, you know,
done at 9.
Yeah, but sometimes in restaurants things get hectic, and you know it might be 6:15. People are running around. I think the thing is to just be patient. Like if it's on them that they don't know what they've got going on, and you don't end up starting to 6:30, it's never a big deal.
Never a big deal.
As long as you're ready. It's something that I personally am like, it's 6:05. I'm not playing yet. I feel like
exactly. That's just lame.
Yeah,
and the people who get annoyed because you're not starting, like in the crowd, for example. Hey, it's 6:01. When are you starting at 6? I mean, those
Chill out.
those people need to go somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's a show that's gonna happen, so just be patient. You know?
Yeah. Now, do you have another?
Yeah, I have another one. I think a lot of people are gonna identify themselves with this one. Musicians, when you're playing a gig and suddenly you hear music going, and you're like thinking, is it the venue? And you look around and you see the person with their phone or their tablet in their hand, watching a video or just listening to a song and showing someone, and you're like, there is a live show.
And it's like at full volume.
Full volume.
And they're cupping the speaker
Yeah.
to amplify it.
It's not like, okay, I'm gonna put it at level 4 where only I can hear it because no. This is the person that blasted all the way to 10 or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
And they're like, and there's a show going on, and how can you not realize that is loud and there's another show going? Like, I mean, there's an actual show. How can you not realize? But I guess it happens. Some people don't realize that, and I've dealt with it in ways that they worked every time. Like,
What do you do? How do you do it?
I told this person, excuse me, with a smile. Yeah, a smile is important.
Always. The condescending smile is key.
Yeah,
You have to have it.
you know, like you're just gonna ask something nice. I said, hey, excuse me, would you like to plug in your phone into my PA?
Oof. Oh.
I got better speakers. It will sound great.
It's the teacher. Would you like to read that note to the class? That's
Exactly.
what it is.
I mean, like the 3 times I've done it, the 3 times there was no problem with the person. They got the joke. People laughed. They got a little. I guess sometimes they can get embarrassed, but it's okay. They're doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, and I think there is a fine like stuff like that. There's a fine line between understanding that you're there to provide an ambiance, and people are there to have a good time. Maybe they haven't seen a friend, they want to share something. I get it. Even if I'm just eating at a restaurant and people are like loudly playing iPhone videos, there's an etiquette of like respect, not even to the performer, just to everybody around.
Yeah, it gets annoying.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to teach them.
I guess
Classes in session.
I guess something you should do is when you're making a video with a friend, you should probably mute your phone.
So disrespectful. Incredible disrespect.
No, but definitely that works, and it also depends on the kind of act you have too. Like if you're all instrumental, kind of a serious show where you're just playing instrumental music, it kind of doesn't go very well to call someone out like that in the microphone.
Then it's just awkward.
It can get
everyone.
awkward. So in my case, it works because I interact and joke with the crowd.
Yeah, that's part of your.
So it's just another joke, but in this case, it's kind of like, okay, hey, come on, man, come on.
And I think the important thing you're touching on is really just to verbally setting boundaries with the audience at a show, because kind of like sometimes some people go to a restaurant, they don't even know they're going to see a show. You know what I mean? So it's like they didn't necessarily come there for you. But, like you said, it's good to just let people know what is happening. I host this open mic night every now and then. And the thing that drives me absolutely insane is there's this guy with a saxophone that comes, and he sits out in the crowd, and we'll have performance. A lot of times I'm just like playing, and whoever wants to sing can come up and do it or whatever. And I'm just playing, whatever. And then randomly I hear a blurt of a saxophone. It's like, what? And it startles me every time. And he just doesn't understand that open mic night doesn't mean you just get to chill in the audience and blurt saxophone notes out.
It doesn't work like
that. There's so many things you take for granted, the common sense that you would assume a lot of people have.
Yeah, well, I have learned that you have to set your boundaries as a performer. I mean, since you don't have security and all this,
sure.
I mean, I don't. You may. I don't.
Right, yes.
You may. I don't. So it's you just have to deal with it. You just have to say in the microphone, if you guys want to participate on this open mic, you can come to the stage.
Yeah.
And when it's your turn, please refrain from using your instruments in the crowd.
And it seems like you shouldn't have to do it. It seems awkward to have to lay out the guidelines of what acceptable social behavior is. But the fact of the matter is, if you have a microphone, you are in a position of authority that you have to let people understand there are rules.
And if you think about it, every big show does that. Sure. They set their guidelines.
Yeah.
Hey, like you cannot smoke in this area, and they say in the microphone, or they put it all over the walls.
Right.
Or you go to a theme park, and they say, hey, don't put your hands up. Like
stuff that you'd think like
if other bigger shows do it, why can't you set your own guidelines? You know, so it's not wrong to tell people.
So the main thing is be empowered to let people know if something.
I mean, it's definitely annoying having to do it.
Yeah, but once you start doing it, once you start setting the guide, it gets easier, and then I always thought I was going to come off as like a jerk. Like, please, sir, don't play the saxophone during a performance.
I thought that too. But since you don't have anyone else doing it for you have to.
I mean? Yeah, and nobody
you
really
have to be there.
At the end of the day.
And there are venues where the manager will be on top of that, because ultimately, since that's annoying other guests, managers should be the ones
ideally
listening and going like, oh, there's a guy playing the trumpet in the crowd. Hey, excuse me, can you... when you go onto stage, can you do it?
Yeah. But ideally, that's how you'd want it to work.
Unfortunately, some managers don't want to have to don't want to do their job.
And a lot of these places are understaffed. You know what I mean? So you can't really count on the staff of a venue to take care of everything. No. You got to take things in your own hands. You know what I mean? Be a boss. Like, get over... It's affecting my artistry. You know what I mean? There is, when you're a performer... There is a certain level of responsibility that you have over how the venue responds to things. And then just be empowered because you've got the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So can I tell you another one that is really, and it's probably my last one that I'm going to tell you.
Take us out.
Man, this one really annoys me.
Yeah?
Is when people grab my stuff.
Oh,
This, like when I'm at a stage, my stuff is my... It's my working. It's my office.
You should see it. Check out his channel because you've got some videos of your setup, and it's great. It's not just a guitar. You've got percussion. You've got like a table of different.
I'm a live looper, so I use a loop station to loop my rhythms, and I use percussion, and I have my guitar and my pedals, my mixer, and so you don't want people touching that stuff. You know, it takes so long to set up everything perfectly, like you like it. Everything is exactly where you want it to be. So if someone comes and grabs your stuff, it's gonna affect you. You know. So and it's just disrespectful. I mean, do you ever go to like a bank and walk into an office, and then start grabbing everying and move all the documents?
Cool stapler. Can I just use it?
Exactly. You don't do that. You don't do that at places. So anyway, now for a long time I let them just. They would grab my shaker and start playing it and laugh and shake it in my ear because they tried to use my microphone too.
Yeah, of course.
Like I've had people hit me because they grabbed the shaker and tried to shake it by my microphone and actually hit me in the face.
Assault by shaker. It's
deadly. Think of that scene.
Deadly.
Not only grabbing myself but hitting me in the face.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just nice.
So exactly. So the way I deal with that is now I just tell them I don't do it in the microphone because try not to embarrass people as much as you can.
Yeah. As the temptation is there. Yeah. The temptation is always there.
Ultimately, people are out spending their money to go and have a good time. So try to approach it. And the last resort should be embarrassing them.
Yeah, the venue doesn't want you to embarrass their clientele.
The venue definitely doesn't want you, but the venue also should back you up. But anyways, I usually just tell them like, excuse me, can I have that back? I'm using it. Mm-hmm. Most of the time they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. And they put it back and they'll understand and they won't come back. Mm-hmm. But there are people who are like, I had a drunk person that says, I wanna say something in your microphone. And they grab my microphone and I go like, no, sorry, no. Because I see they're like drunk and they're like gonna fall all over my stuff. And they're like, oh, I need to say something. And I had a person try to take the microphone from my hand.
Oh my gosh, that's the worst.
That's the worst. That's when you have to really stop and talk to my.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah, but
But yeah, like.
But honestly,
I deal with drunks as I play at some bars. So
exactly, and I've dealt with a couple of them. It really is few and far between. Like if you're thinking about getting out there and gigging, this is stuff that like just by the law of numbers it happens just because you gig all the time. You know what I mean? I played tons of shows. It is kind of rare for it to happen, but it does happen. So don't let it keep you out of like the scene. Incredibly rare when it happens, but it does.
Exactly. This video is not to like discourage you from performing live if you're thinking about it.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's great. It's a great time. And even, again, when people are like, drinking, having a good time.
We're just not talking about the great things that happen because there's like way more great things that happen at gigs. These are just some bad things that will happen.
We do it and we're happy to do it. But at the end of the day, there's a way to kind of respond to any situation. And those are just some of the things that we deal with. on a
And it will be
day-to-day basis.
interesting to hear like other musicians in your channel.
For sure. What do you guys deal with?
What they deal and how they. It's always so interesting to hear.
There's a lot of different ways to deal with,
especially the funny ones.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic.
When we win, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you will not always win when you're trying to deal with a situation. You will not always win.
No, I've taken some losses. I've taken some
Exactly, me too.
The day. But Andres, thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom.
Thanks for having me. Your channel,
man,
bro.
Please go check this man out.
And your setup looks just like in my house.
It's amazing how I've copied you so detailed.
I mean, you even have
detail
the
by detail.
picture with the stones in Nice, France.
Oh, your photography is just amazing. So check that out.
It's my wife.
Let us know what you guys think, and we'll talk to you all soon.